Hi everyone, Alicia from Women in Data here. I'm here with Dan Draper today, who is from Expert 360, and he has a really quite interesting diversity project on the go at the moment called Debugging Diversity that I thought you'd all be interested in. So I want to talk to you first, Dan. What is it? What is Debugging Diversity?
Yeah, so Debugging Diversity is a film. It's likely to be a feature-length film.
Okay.
I've been working on this film for probably about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And so the goal of the film is to tell the story of women in technology careers, but also to explore why there aren't many women that work in the industry.
Yeah.
And in particular also then to talk about some of the organisations and the incredible people that are working to kind of improve female participation in technology.
Okay, fabulous. And probably one of the biggest questions you get asked a lot, I would assume, is why you?
Yeah, well certainly, like a lot of people ask me, why is a guy doing a film about gender diversity and a white guy no less?
Yeah.
I think that comes as a bit of surprise to people sometimes. To be frank, I actually probably got into this a little bit by accident. It was a curiosity of mine, and I wanted to try and start making a YouTube film about, a YouTube video about it.
Okay.
But as I explored the topic, it became apparent to me that it's much more complicated than I realized. And a short YouTube film was not going to cut it. So I thought, look, I've come this far, I might as well keep going. And as I learned more and more about it, what I realized was that it's women who suffer as a consequence of the gender disparity in our industry.
Yeah.
But because of the power dynamic between men and women at the moment, it's often the men who need to play a role in changing it. They need to start taking steps towards improving the situation. And what I realized beyond that is that I can be a role model for other men.
Yeah.
So it's not just, it's certainly not a guy trying to mansplain to women about how to solve this problem. I wouldn't dream of doing that. This is really me trying to encourage other men to be a part of the conversation.
Absolutely, because men are affected too, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it makes sense that you would be an advocate for them and speak on their behalf as well and put your story out there. What do you hope that the video will achieve in the end?
So I'm hoping to do two things. I suppose I'm trying to encourage other men to start thinking about these problems more seriously, and not just to talk about them, but to actually start taking real steps. And then secondly, I want to go through some of the specific steps. What are some of the things that men, women too for that matter, and organisations can take in order to start tackling particularly gender diversity, but we also start to think about other forms of diversity and indeed intersectionality as well.
Brilliant.
So what are some of the things you can do to make a more inclusive workplace where people really feel like they belong?
Brilliant. So I guess, can you give us any tidbits around that just really quickly right now, putting you on the spot?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I think one of the look, there's a bunch of different stuff, but let me give you one example. So one of the things that I often talk about in terms of improving gender diversity in a team is what is the kind of image that you're portraying to a potential market of candidates or employees.
Yeah.
So in tech especially, people often fall into the trap of talking about rock stars and ninjas and Friday beers and you've got to have these skills and all this sort of stuff. And what I think a lot of guys don't realise is that's very masculine language and probably appeals to men perhaps more than women. And in fact, there have been studies that show that is indeed the case. So we've used my role at Expert 360 and in some other situations where I've been giving people advice, we use a tool called Textio.
Yeah.
And Textio will actually do sort of sentiment analysis on any text, but we use it for job ads, and we'll tell you if that text is maybe a little bit more male-leaning or female-leaning. And when I did it actually on our early jobs at Expert 360, I found they were very masculine.
Okay.
Now we try to focus on like a slight female sentiment,
Okay.
and actually the number of female applicants we got for our roles increased quite dramatically.
Interesting. Okay. So just to give everyone a call to action today, obviously I know there's a specific call to action you'd like. What is that, and what are the costs involved with this project? Yeah,
so right now we're running a campaign on Indiegogo. So you can go to debuggingdiversity.com/campaign, and that will take you to the Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah.
We're taking individual contributions starting at $25. In fact, if you want to add in $10 you can.
Okay.
But if you start with $25, you get a free ticket to the film when it's finished.
Nice.
And then individual contributions raised up to $150. You get stickers and T-shirt and things like that.
Brilliant.
And then we're also offering corporate contributions, and they start at $250.
Okay.
And then they range up to $2,500. Now, for that $2,500, you actually can be a part of the film, and you would be a part of what we're calling our diversity challenge, where we come into your organisation and we help you identify one or two particular kind of areas for improvement, and then film your journey through that process.
Well, fabulous branding as well for a company.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so look, just to wrap everything up then, how can people, they can go to Indiegogo to do this.
Yeah.
I guess people could reach out to you individually as well if they felt so inclined.
Absolutely, yeah. We can include my contact details below the post if you like. Yeah.
Brilliant. And look, it's not expensive, guys. So what if all of us put a little bit of help in and just made this film come to life and helped even just 2 or 3 corporate companies make a difference?
Absolutely.
That'd be brilliant.
Very much appreciated.